Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we built filterable portfolios like this on several occasions, and a question that comes up quite often is how do you actually style the filters up here? Well, in the actual module itself there's not a lot of options. You can change the color of the text, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to show you how to do it with a bit of custom CSS, and we'll turn this into something crazy like this. We'll make them into buttons. And it's pretty easy to do. We've got to use a bit of custom CSS for this today. Don't let that put you off. Any code I write I'll put below the video, and you can change the colors and use it how you wish. So let's get started. I'm using Google Chrome here today with the great inspector tools. Most browsers have this nowadays. If yours doesn't, Chrome is a free download. So let's take a look at one of these. I'm going to right click and inspect it. And there's our Chrome inspector. And if we look over here, we've got a class of filterable portfolio and the portfolio anchor tag right there, which is blue. So this is where we can start styling things. So let's see, what do we want to do? First thing I want to do is I want to spread them out a bit so they're like buttons. So I'm going to give it some margin. I'm going to say margin. And the first entry is going to be top and bottom. So I don't want any top or bottom unless you want more gap between them and the images below. And the second entry will be left and right. So I'm going to say 50 pics left and right. As you can see, that spread those out nicely, and we can now start turning them into buttons. The other thing that I want to change here is they're pretty similar sizes, all except that, but that's because our word count is pretty similar. I want them all to be exactly the same width. So let's give them a width here. Just left click, drop down one more, width. And let's say make them 100. I don't think that will be enough. 100 pics. No, let's say 115. And you can select your number right there and roll with your mouse wheel to increment it up or down to get it where you want it. There we go. That'll do nicely. 115. Fantastic. Now it doesn't look like that text is actually in the center anymore. It's slightly to the left there. I don't know if you can see that. You can certainly see it on this one. I do want everything in the middle, so I'm going to say text align center. And any of these lines of code, if you're watching this afterwards and you're going to use them, anything that you don't want, just simply delete it. Great. So they're all the correct width now, or all the same width. Now I want to change the background color, and I guess let's make them all this sort of crazy pink color I've got here for the logo. And I've got a free Chrome color picker up here. I'm just going to go and grab the hex color there, and let's say background, and it's a hex color, so it needs a hashtag in front of it, and then we'll paste in that hex number that we copied. There it is. That's given them that nice, or that crazy pink background color, all except for this one, which is our focus item, but we'll deal with that in a second. Now, and also we want to change the hover state as well. Notice when I hover over there it goes gray. I want to make that maybe yellow or something else that we've got going on here. Now you could change the color of the actual text here, but I don't think it's going to work. So let's try it. Actually, I've got it up the top here is the actual color, but it's important, so we may not be able to override it here. So let's just put FFF in there, which is white. Will that work there? We'll see. Now, because we're doing this in the Chrome Inspector, it's changed it for us up here, but it's not going to stay like that. As soon as we refresh this page, that's going to revert back to how it was. To make this permanent, we need to go to our theme customizer. And if I show you, let's go to the dashboard, I'll show you how to get there. And this is common to most WordPress themes. if you go down to appearance and then customize, most WordPress themes that I've used, and that's an awful lot, have one of these. Once you get into the customizer, there's usually somewhere for you to put additional CSS, which is your custom code. So we'll put that in here today. As you can see, I've got a lot already written in there for other things. So let's give this some space, and we'll call this, I'm going to give it a title, so you're going to go /*/ anything written between the two stars won't be read as code. So I'll just put portfolio filters, or I'll just put filters, that'll do. Okay, that way if you've got a lot of code, it makes it a lot easier to find if you do this, or if somebody else comes and edits the site behind you. Let's go back to our thing, and let's grab all of this from the first dot there of that class name all the way down to that closing curly bracket. I'm going to grab it all, Control C to copy. I'm going to go back to my customizer. I guess I can close this one, and I'm going to put it in there. Now before I publish it, let's just refresh this page again, or rather we were on this page. I can lose this page, get rid of this, and I'll refresh this page again. It should revert back to how it was originally. There we go. Now if I publish this and we'll refresh, we'll see how much of it is actually taken and see if we need to edit any of it. Now that's published. Let's refresh this page again. Okay. Yeah, well, everything's taken it apart from what I thought, which was the color of the actual writing itself. So to change the color of the writing, I want my writing to be white. Let's go into the Visual Builder. We can change that color from within. So we'll go into our Filterable portfolio module, go over to Design, down to Filter Criteria Text, and you can change the font, and Divi's got a ridiculous amounts of font. You can change it from regular to bold, etc, 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 but here you can change the color. So let's put it on the white color that we want. Fantastic. You can change text size and letter spacing, everything else here also if you want. That's fine for me at the moment. I'm going to leave that just exactly as it is. So let's save that now. Okay, so that's taken, and the text is the right color, but when I hover on it, I want it to perhaps be that other yellow color there. And the active one, when we actually click on one of these, I want it to be that yellow color too. So let's save what we've got here, and let's get that done. Okay, let's exit the Visual Builder. Okay, so we want the actual active one, which is this one right here, and I want it to be this yellow color of the logo. So let's get that color first, I guess. Now let's inspect our active one here. And there's the color right there, the background color. So it's this one right here. So background color I can replace with the color we just copied here. There we go, and it's the yellow color we want. And to make it permanent, we need to take this over to our customizer again, from the dot of the first class up there to the closing curly brackets. I'm going to copy that back to our customizer. After the last curly bracket of our first entry, I'm going to drop down a couple and paste that in there. Now I don't need this other one because we didn't change anything there at all. And also we can get rid of this because it didn't change anything for us either. That's where we had to go into the actual module and change it there. Great. So we may as well publish that now. And the only other thing is the actual hover state right here. And so let's just select this one. And if we go over here, we've got Hov right there. I'm going to left click on it and highlight hover, and it should show us the hover state right there. And let's look a bit further up. There we go. Here's the hover state just up here, hover, and there's the color. I want that to be that yellow color again. There we go. So when we hover over it, it's now that color. Fantastic. So I just need to copy this again from the dot of the class name all the way down. I can get rid of the 666 color in there. We'll drop down a couple again. And that's taking care of our hover state and our active state. Let's just publish this. Go back to our page and I can get rid of this and we'll refresh the page. There we go, and everything stayed as it was. When we hover over now, it's changing to the nice yellow color, or the logo yellow color there. When we click on one, it becomes active and it's also the yellow color there. You can go on and on, you can give it rounded corners, you can decorate. I'll just show you how to add a bit of box shadow. Let's just add a bit of box shadow here. Say box shadow, make it a little one, say 2 pixels by 2 pixels up and down by 5 pixels spread, and let's make it fairly dark grey. And then when we hover on it, we could copy it across and make it bigger on the hover state and the active state. So let's copy it, we'll take it down to the hover state, pop it in there. I know we haven't looked at it, but it will work. And like I say, if you don't want any of these lines, just delete them. And we'll leave it 2 pixels left and right. Let's make it 4 pixels down. Let's make it 10 pixels spread. And I'll copy this to the hover state. That way it should have a bit bigger shadow when you're hovering on it and you're active. So let's do this. Do this. We'll publish this. Go over here and now let's refresh and we should have a box shadow. There we go, we got a bit of a box shadow. See a bigger box shadow under the active one and a smaller one under the non-active ones, but when we hover it becomes bigger. Now the only other thing that I've got there, they've got a border on there that looks to be white. I can get rid of that border on all of them if you want to, by simply saying border none. Just tidy those up. And we'll copy this and we'll put this one on the hover state and the active state as well. In fact, we don't need to put it on the hover state if we've got it on the regular state, but we do need to put it on the active. So let's publish that. We'll go back over here. And the little white border there should disappear. There we go, that's better. And you notice when I hover over it, that drop shadow grows a bit. And on the active, it's a little darker too. So that's how you can customize your filters using a bit of custom CSS. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, comment, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.